Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios, and it's that time again for another acrylic painting tutorial. Today we're looking at controlled drips. So what are controlled drips? Well, they're kind of exactly how they sound. It's you making a drip on a canvas or a piece of paper or whatever you're painting on, and just letting it drip down the page, but doing so in a controlled manner. Artists have been using controlled drips for a relatively long period of time to get all kind of different effects in their paintings. And there's a lot of different methods for getting those controlled drips, and I'm going to call those methods natural, semi-natural, and assisted. For a natural controlled drip, it's actually a little bit less controlled. You're usually just adding a lot of water onto your canvas or support and just kind of letting it do its own thing. It's very, again, natural in that way, and it's good for certain things. I actually follow an artist by the name of Laura Zombie, and she does this all the time in her work. She just lets stuff drip down, and it looks phenomenal, but she's been doing it long enough that she kind of knows how much water to add to it. The assisted drip is a little more common, simply because you're using either a low viscosity paint, such as a soft body, a fluid, or ink, or you're mixing one of those paints, or even a thicker paint, with something like maybe like a fluid matte medium or a tar gel or even glazing liquid to get sort of this assisted drip. Now this will kind of hold the sort of viscosity and consistency of the paint a little bit more, but depending on how you're painting it may not really give you the desired look you needed. Now today's method that I'm going to be showing you is sort of what I'm calling the semi-natural way, in which you're adding water to your paint and letting it drip, but also doing so slowly and sort of building up the water and letting it kind of drip as you need it to. This, to me, is the best way to explain the controlled drip. See, now there is a slight problem to this, is that I usually work on a table, but in order to get the paint to drip, I'm going to have to put my support on an easel. So let's go over here. So for today's tutorial, I've set a piece of gesso cardboard on top of my A-frame easel. Actually, I don't think I've ever showed this off in a video. Picked it up at a yard sale. It's really great. I've also got a palette with just some phthalo blue paint on that. And I've got my bucket of water on the floor today. Anytime you see me bend down, that's when I'm going for water. And I've also just got a nice simple round brush. So for the control drip, relatively simple. I'm going to actually just start out by just laying down a nice sort of dry brush area of paint, just to kind of get a good solid area of color to start. That way we can build the drip down from it. And you can see what I'm talking about a little bit more. I'm going to wet my brush just a little, smooth this out. And our drip, we're going to start to pull down from here. So, just like slowly adding water at this point, getting it thinner and thinner and thinner. You can build up a little bit more paint as well. That way when you're adding water, you're getting just a better consistency with the paint, and you're not just thinning it out and making it too water-like. You want to make sure that the paint actually does indeed flow. So at this point I'm not tapping my brush on the side of my bucket like I normally do to shake off the water. I'm just kind of slowly building that up and then letting the drip happen. Now, at this point, you could let it kind of continue to drip, or you can start to control it. So at this point, I'm actually going to stop it from dripping, and then tilt it back down, letting the color rework up on the top of the drip a little more, and then again, letting it pull back. And at this point, you can almost just put it on its side and let it stay that way, but I'm going to go ahead and let it continue just a little bit as well. Another thing you can actually do with this is while it's dripping, you have the ability, of course, to turn. You can shake it a little and just change the direction of your drips. Now, this can be a super effective method. I'm actually going to get a little more paint and water because I'm losing the ability to drip here, so just add a little bit more. I'm actually starting to pull up on the brush there. I don't want it to pull here, I want it to pull over. Getting a nice thin
thin line there, and there's having a little trouble this morning. Little water. I may not get it to happen the way the gesso works, but you kind of get the idea. So you have the ability to really control where the drips are and where they're going, because you're able to build up where they are with the brush. And it's just a simple method of thinning your paint and then slowly adding the water in. To get that drip to happen. And one thing to note with this method, again, if you're not thinning with a like a medium or a gel, it's going to be a little bit more transparent. If you want to maintain that strong, bold color and the opacity, then go ahead and use a little bit of the assisted method and put some gel into that as well. So I know this method may not look like much, just flat on a blank piece of white support, but it really is an effective method for creating interesting, abstract and non-objective shapes to really bring life to a piece. Whether you use the natural, semi-natural, or assisted method, make sure that you try them all out. Make sure you find the one that works best for you. And again, check out some of Laura Zombie's work, because her work really shows this method in a way that is kind of utilizing all three different types of the methods while still making sure that it looks good. The assisted drip isn't something I use a lot very often, so sorry if my demo wasn't up to par. As always, if you learned something in this video, hit the like button, get subscribed if you're not already, and this has been from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios. See you guys next time. Probably could have shaved for this.